Dearest and best of wives, an exceedingly unpleasant day as was yesterday, off the track as John says. This has been to me and the day previous. It has rained and rained and rained until there was not one dry spot on which to set the sole of our foot in our tents or outside. I have recently been appointed regimental postmaster, and I take the mail every day to the boat and carry back whatever there may have been received for the regiment. I like it much. I have a good horse kindly furnished me by the government as long as I may need him. All required of me is to feed him government-furnished food. Day before yesterday I rode down with the mail. It is nearly 5 miles, and on my way back there set in one of the heaviest rains I ever remember of experiencing one. My boots rained full of water. On the side the storm beat most fiercely. The water, was ankle deep to my horse on the level. It rained so tremendously that the water had no time to run off. Well, it rained on until I reached camp, drenched through and through. What made things much worse, my bed, made entirely of hay, was wet as water. Ground wet, blanket wet, and tent leaking like a riddle. Poor prospect for sleeping this night, said I to one of our boys who was in my tent. Well, it was the case with every tent in the camp. I need not tell you, my dear. I wished to be home long enough to get warm and change wet for dry clothing. What made matters much worse, I had early in the morning gone to the brook and washed one pair of drawers, one flannel shirt, and one white shirt, one pocket handkerchief, 2 towels, and some other things, and all were hanging up in my tent, not yet dry. Fortunately, however, as you will remember, I brought my summer suit along, and as the morning had been intensely warm, I had put them on to carry the mail, and had crowded my dress parade suit in my valise, a thing I never thought of doing before. At that which I had in my valise was all I had dry in the state of Tennessee. Night came on, cold, or should I say chilly, as I sat up as long as I could keep awake, and then I lay down, wrapped in my blanket and rubber coat, but I could not sleep. Neither could I get warm. 2 other boys who write or clerk at the headquarters could lay and sleep away, and it was raining on them all the time, but I could not, and will not when I can help it. So I got up and succeeded in building a fire, and put on my rubber coat and stood over it until morning in the rain. I thought a few times of home. Well, next day, not very well. Pain in my head, side, and bowels. Fixed up my bed of hay. My Savior had such a bed in Bethlehem. And I laid down and I fell asleep. But still it rained and rained. Before night, I took off my shoes and stockings and almost baked my feet before the fire. Felt better and slept better during the night, but still it rained. This morning we had a slight sprinkle of hail or snow, but it did not last long. I wonder how all are doing at home. I hope the weather is not so unpleasant there. I do not think it would be well for me to spend many days and nights like some few in the past, if I want to live long. But I will do my best I can for the sake of the dear ones at home. Perhaps we will have no more cold rains. I have just eaten for my supper 3 of Susan's biscuits, the last of them too. I had hidden them in my valise. I tell you what, as Willie says, they were a treat. They had not a single thing to eat at headquarters today at dinner time. I don't understand how it is. But you can explain it, my dear, better than I, when I have told you they trust to the darky. I never said one word to colonel, nor adjacent, nor adjunct. But let it pass along until supper, when I stumbled accidentally on Susan's 3 cakes, and they will answer me till morning. How the balance got along, I know not. In the morning I think of breakfasting with someone of the company's. It is now raining again quite hard. I hope and pray it will clear off soon, but the Lord knows what is best for us. He sends the rain. Well, we are here in camp, an immense host, between 1 and 200,000. When we are to make an advance, No one save the commanding general knows. Probably within the next 10 days, we will move on some point of the enemy's country, and with blessing of God, strike one more blow on the head of rebellion. And may the God of battles make it effectual and the last. I would like to give you many very more particulars of late and great battle, but I fear it would awaken feelings and emotions apart from pleasure in your mind. I will only mention 2 or 3 incidents which enable you to form some idea of the terrible destruction of human life on both sides. In some graves we've buried as many as 40 of our own soldiers side by side and one on top of the other. In others, we buried of the rebel soldiers killed in battle as high as 140 in one grave, and some pits may have had more than that. From this one fact, you can infer how much more numerous their rebel dead were than that on our side. Oh, it's not shocking to think of. This morning I saw a lieutenant who had been killed in battle and had been buried without a coffin, disinterred. His people having sent a metallic coffin for the body, I sat on my horse and looked at the body for some time, but I will not describe it. I thought of our loved and long-lost dead who sleep on still in this undisturbed response of the grave, far, far away from this bloody battlefield. Peaceful be their slumbers, and God grant that they will meet all in the skies. How pleasant to run backward over the pathways of human life to the home of childhood, the parental roof, the loved and loving, who gathered around the social hearth. When we wandered by the quiet brook, winding through the meadows in company with those whose presence gave a charm to life, but whose victory of silvery sweetness has long since been hushed in death. I have said it is pleasant, but we cannot tarry long in the background. The unbidden tear of affection and sorrow steals down the chute, and were we to tarry long there, ruminating and grieving for those once linked to our own existence, but from whom we have been separated by a stroke of unwelcome messenger, death, we would be unfitted for the duties of life. I trust, my dear, you have been prudent, and that both yourself and the little darling son, and my black-eyed posy girl, and lovely Betty, and sprightly Annie, and energetic Johnny, and manly Willie are all doing well. I trust Mr. Finley and Susan are also well. My kind regards to them. Should you get out of meat, buy one more ham of Mr. Jackson until I make you remittance. The paymaster has not yet arrived. We look for him daily. Yours in purest affection, S. D. Lougheed.